Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of In Conversation by Advisor Coach. Today, in conversation, I have again a very dear friend, Ritesh Pathak, Deputy CBO, Retail Sales and Passive with Motilal Oswal Mutual Fund, joining us again. Welcome, Ritesh, to In Conversation by Advisor Coach.
Thank you so much, Surenji. Always a pleasure.
माय प्लेजर माय प्लेजर सो हमको सुनने में आया है कि मोतीलाल ओसवाल म्यूचुअल फंड ने एक नया न्यू फंड ऑफर लॉन्च किया है। 3 जुलाई को 17 जुलाई को बंद हो रहा है। मोतीलाल ओसवाल बीएससी मिड कैप 150 मोमेंटम 30 इंडेक्स फंड।
All right.
So what this fund is all about basically, because 150 and then 30. Okay, so if you could just tell our views about this fund.
First of all, thank you, Surenji, for having me. This fund is basically will track the performance of the top 30 momentum stocks from the mid cap universe. So, mid cap universe has close to 150 stocks overall, and this fund will actually, based on the momentum price model, will invest in the top 30 stock जो कि स्कोरिंग के मेथड से हिसाब से आते हैं एंड इट
Hmm.
विल रीबैलेंस ऑन अ क्वार्टरली बेसिस एंड
Every three
कंटिन्यू टू
months
डू
it will
सो.
rebalance.
हाँ जी.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's it's a very simple product. Just try to capturing the best companies in terms of the price momentum, which is available at that point of time. And so the idea to capture the companies which are emerging fast in the mid cap space, and also momentum works on the both side, upside and downside, also excluding company where the momentum is losing. So as simple as that.
So basically, it's chasing a momentum model, right? Selecting 30 stocks out of those 150
Correct.
mid-cap stocks, and then precisely chasing that 30. So,
Absolutely,
so, जब भी
absolutely.
हम, so when you talk about this momentum, so what all parameters are you taking into that?
तो व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट मोमेंटम बेसिकली हम क्या करते हैं, बहुत सिंपल मॉडल है इसका सुरेन जी. हम वी लुक एट द प्राइस मूवमेंट ऑफ द स्टॉक फॉर द लास्ट 12 months,
Okay.
and we also take into account the volatility in those prices also, and basis that we get a momentum score. So 12 महीने का प्राइस रिटर्न ले लिया हमने, हमने वॉलिटिलिटी एडजस्ट कर ली हमने उसमें, और उसके बाद हम क्या करते हैं कि हम उसका एंड टू गिव अ वेटेज टू दो स्टॉक्स, हम उसका फ्री फ्लोट निकाल के मोमेंटम स्कोर से मल्टीप्लाई कर देते हैं. तो वी
I
गेट द
see.
मोमेंटम स्कोर फ्रॉम दी लास्ट 12 मंथ्स प्राइस रिटर्न एडजस्ट फॉर वॉलिटिलिटी. फिर उसमें हम स्कोर को फ्री फ्लोट, अगर ज्यादा फ्री फ्लोट बड़ा है और मोमेंटम स्कोर ज्यादा है तो वेटेज ज्यादा हो जाएगा, एंड अकॉर्डिंगली द वेटेज हैपन. सो दैट्स हाउ वी decide the momentum and also the weighting in the weightage in the portfolio.
Sure. So, Ritesh, can I say that this fund will, show you sharper movements and greater market capture? Because 150 as such, अगर आप universe देखें, उसी में there's a lot of money flowing into the mid cap funds, correct? And within that, you're carving out 30. So, will this fund kind of see more sharper movements and higher market captures?
Yes, absolutely. So if you look at the capture ratio of the this fund is vastly superior than the other factor funds in the mid cap space. For
Hmm.
example, if you compare, let's say, a mid cap, within mid cap 150, you look at momentum, you look at value, you look at quality and low vol. The capture ratio of this fund is superior than the other factors which we have seen, resulting into a much more far superior returns in 3-year rolling basis and 5-year rolling basis for the last 20 years. So
Sure.
it's far superior in terms of the capture ratio.
Sure, sure. And obviously, it's definitely participating in reasonable amount of a broader market set, so to speak. But what would be the likely constituents, could be the likely constituents in terms of the economic sectors being covered?
Yeah, so this basically, as I told you, this aim is to cover the top 30 stocks in the mid cap 150 space. This fund try to capture the emerging leadership in the mid cap space which are coming up, and through that, whichever themes, sectors, stocks which are being part of the those 30 stocks get captured in the portfolio. So if you look at the also the movement of this portfolio for last 3 years, what you see is that, for example, in 2024, industrials were the top allocation with 25%. In 2025 March, it became consumer discretion with 27%. And in June 26, just last month, the financial became 29%, the highest constituent of the portfolio. So constituents keep changing within the portfolio based on the momentum score, based on the economy, based on the condition of the market. And the idea is to capture those best possible 30 names based on the momentum scores, and the constituents will keep changing based on the change in the leadership of the
Sure.
trends and the themes.
So this always keeps you, on the go with the fund. Basically, if someone is chasing momentum, price growth, this is the right fund for him to be
Absolutely,
or her to be.
absolutely.
So perfect, perfect. रितेश एक बात बताइए 150 stocks हैं there's so much of money coming in the mid cap and we've seen the how the market movement on the mid cap has been. Are you comfortable with the mid cap valuations at this point of time? What is your view on that?
So, Renji, I mean, if you look at the way the Medcap is constructed, I mean, it's the only 150 stocks, and
Mm,
it's a sweet spot because generally the companies which are emerging out of small cap become a part of Medcap. So these are growing companies. These already command higher earning growth. So if you look at the
mm,
data for
mm,
last
mm,
third quarter, we look at the data for the fourth quarter also, the
mm.
Medcap earnings came out much superior than the small cap and the large cap. So they
Yes.
do tend to command a higher PE if you
Mm,
compare with, let's say, a large cap for that matter, and at
mm,
times a small cap also. Now,
mm,
what we have to look at is not only the PE, but we have also look at the PEG. So we have also to keep in mind कि इसमें growth कितना आ रहा है.
mm, mm,
And
mm, mm,
because of the higher growth coming in, so if you look at from a PG model, valuation is still fine. But if you look at only from a PE lenses, you might see it a bit expensive. Now,
mm,
if when you invest, we look at the data also on a 3-year, 5-year basis, Surenji, for 20 years, and what we saw that no this valuation also leads to a volatility in the portfolio. It's higher than the large cap, but because of the incremental volatility, the return difference between, let's say, a large cap index and a mid cap index, we just take mid cap 150 versus large cap, the difference is 3.5% on a 5-year rolling basis between large
mm,
and mid cap. So
mm,
against 12% return of the large cap on a 5-year rolling basis, mid cap have delivered close to 15.5%.
mm,
And
mm.
if I add momentum into that, the return from a 5-year rolling base goes to 26%, which is almost 14% more than the large
Yes.
cap
Yes.
on the compounded rolling basis,
Mm,
and
mm,
almost 12 to 13% more than the 10% more than the mid cap 150 index. So
mm,
within that 150 mid cap stocks, what happens is that, like you rightly said, valuation could be frothy in some stocks. Valuation could be exciting or attractive in some stocks. The idea is that the fund is primarily trying to avoid that by making sure where is the price momentum happening. The stocks are moving in the northward. It will going to capture very fast because the rebalance is only quarterly,
sure.
unlike the current option which industry which is doing on a half yearly basis.
Mm,
Now,
mm, mm,
like you also just touched upon, it could happen that the stocks which have gone up
mm,
in the let's say recent past may also see a downward trend
mm,
because of this 3-month period of rebalancing. Stocks get exited fast from the
mm,
portfolio,
mm,
so
mm,
they are not keeping it in the portfolio for a very long period.
mm,
And thereby, the portfolio is making sure the uh, company where the price trend is emerging on the better side get captured fast, and wherever the price trend is losing, exited from the portfolio. And because of that, in a momentum side, it becomes very critical because if you keep holding a stock where the momentum is not on the right side, it can actually dent the portfolio return.
mm,
This
mm,
portfolio is
mm.
able, because of quarterly rebalancing model, it able to capture that. Thus, the buffer is only 30%, which making sure the stock get replenished very fast in the portfolio.
Sure, sure, sure. Understood, understood. It's very interesting. I think my next question is very much related कि एक advisor, mutual fund distributor, investor, I think you clearly answered why should they be looking forward to investing in this fund as a part of their allocation because this kind of just gives them a slightly more edge, a tightly managed more portfolio, getting rebalanced every 3 months, etc.
Right.
Wonderful. What kind of investor, should an investor be ideally investing in a product like this?
So I know any investor who is looking for a long-term wealth creation, who is not very uh, uh, afraid of adding bit volatility in a portfolio, should look at this fund from a longer time frame,
Hmm.
because what it fund does is basically for the incremental 2% volatility it gives over the mid cap 150, it helps you capture the higher return also, or alpha, I will say alpha in the portfolio over the index. Now, in India, passives are, basically two parts of it. One is basic index fund, and the other is you add a layer of factor, or we call it
Hmm.
as a smart beta, etc.
True.
Now, this fund is basically a smart beta, so not only giving the basic benefit of an index, can give you even more with the additional layer of momentum as a factor.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
those investors who can bear volatility, and do not get swayed away by short-term up and down in the market, should look to be investing this fund from a longer time frame. And the last 20-year data are showing that the 3 and 5 year rolling basis return in the range of 26% CAGR, as to the testimony that this patience of holding for a longer period is actually will add in terms of reward for the higher return in the
Yeah.
future. That's what the data shows in the past, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
it's a clear trend that by adding this portfolio in their, I mean, this fund in the portfolio, they're adding something differentiated, because as of now, Surenji, in India, in the mid cap 150 space, you only have momentum 50 with a half yearly or a semi-annual rebalance. You do not have the quarterly rebalance portfolio. This 30 stock positioning, which actually a fantastic positioning, because when you are holding a 30 stocks, you are basically holding 20% of entire index. So high
Hmm.
conviction portfolio.
Hmm.
There are only one stock which is under 1%, versus
Hmm.
let's say a momentum 50 where close to 11 stocks are under 1%. So higher conviction in a portfolio compared
Hmm.
to, let's say, a momentum 50 in terms of construct of the portfolio. And if you look at in terms of how the portfolio spans out versus, let's say, the momentum 50, we clearly see it's a advantageous kind of allocation in the portfolio, give you the
Hmm.
advantage of a opportunity to maybe make a higher alpha in the long term, and not only in the point to point performance. If you look at the SIP performance, a lot of clients will be looking at the SIP, because mid cap is something preferred on the SIP side, and this fund has been able to deliver very uh, uh, quite a attractive returns in the past also. So 5 year returns
Hmm.
of close to
Hmm.
27% CAGR, and
Hmm.
10-year returns of close to 30% CAGR is again a testimony that because of the higher volatility also, which keeps showing, the customer will benefit by adding more and more units when the market comes down. So SIP as well lump sum both are great strategy for the market. There is absolutely no problem. Last thing I want to add is that a lot of people ask why now. If you look at the last 4 year data of the factors, what we have seen that last 1.5 years, the value factors have done very well.
Hmm.
And we all know that the factors work in cycle. So there is no harm adding a factor which have shown a great performance in the past, but in the last 1 year, the factor has not done well because of the various market conditions.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that way also, I mean, adding a momentum fund in a portfolio is not a very it's not bad. It's actually a good idea according to me.
Hmm. Correct, absolutely. So systematic investment plans, I think, will be a very efficient way of investing in this product for a very long period of time.
Absolutely, because that volatility will help in getting more units whenever the enemy goes
Correct.
down.
And you continue to participate in the momentum and the growth.
Absolutely, upside will be there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Ritesh, what message would you like to give to all the viewers listening today to this podcast about this new fund offer and, of course, Motilal Oswal Mutual Fund?
So, Surenji, my only message is that our intention or our endeavor is always to introduce differentiated products to our clients. We're not doing NFO for just for the reason for launching NFO. In the past, also we launched defense fund, capital market funds, clean environment fund. We launched just a
Yes,
month back.
yes.
Again, the positioning was very different. First time in industry. Again, this first fund is the first launch in the industry in terms of the Momentum 30
Mm-hmm.
Mid-cap 150 index model. Worldwide, the factor funds are have the largest AUM.
Hmm.
India is still a nascent stage. Any investors who are looking to uh, make a portfolio uh, beyond index, the same time they want factors to play on their side. I think this portfolio would fit very well in their overall plan of the construct of the, and this fund will fit very well in the portfolio. So factor fund, people should look at adding that portfolio because it gives you an added advantage over the plain vanilla index fund. If the client or the client is willing to take that additional kind little bit of volatility to add that return in the portfolio, so it's a fantastic portfolio to add from long-term perspective, and especially like you rightly mentioned for SIP investor. Keep in
Hmm.
mind, this fund can give a very fantastic experience in a
Hmm.
long period of time. It's a super portfolio to add at this point of time, and I believe that in investment there is no right and wrong time. जब
Hmm.
आप शुरू करते हो वही अच्छा समय होता है, कोई उसके लिए कोई कोई शुभ शुभ समय नहीं होता है, वही समय जब आप स्टार्ट कीजिए।
That's right.
और हम चाहे, हाँ, हम में से किसको नहीं पता हो कि मार्केट 1 महीने 2 महीने 3 बाद क्या करेगा। बेस्ट टाइम स्टार्ट इज टुडे, एंड आई बिलीव दैट पर्सन, सॉरी, इन्वेस्टर शुड लुक एट, at least they should look at this fund, and if it fits their risk profile and investment thought process, they should invest in this fund.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Excellent. So, well, for our viewers, this is Mr. Ritesh Pathak, Deputy CBO, Motilal Oswal Mutual Fund, Retail Sales and Passive, talking about their new fund offer, Motilal Oswal BSC Mid Cap 150 Momentum 30 Index Fund, closing on the 17th of July. Ritesh, thank you very much, for taking our viewers, to what this fund is all about, and
Thank you
and
so much.
wishing you and your entire team the very best for this new fund offer.
Thank you so much, Surendra. Thanks for time. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And I would request all our viewers who enjoyed watching this lovely podcast with Ritesh, do subscribe to Advisor Coach YouTube channel for more such interesting updates. Thank you, Ritesh, for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.